Alright guys, so we're continuing here with the review guide, and so next one is asking to find all zeros of the function. So first thing I want to do is do the P's and Q's if we don't know where to start, but you should be given the graph for a problem that looks like this. So I went ahead and graphed it. This is it right here. So I can see that it crosses the x-axis at x equals 5. So I know that's a 0. Okay, and so if I didn't know that, and I can see that when I divide the P's and Q's, 5 is part of my list here. But if I didn't, you'd have to go one by one to see which one it was. Again, that won't be the case on the test. So here, we'll go ahead and start with a 5. And I'll bring this down, so this becomes positive 5, 0, 0, this becomes 2, positive 10, and remainder of 0, which is what I'm looking for. So if I were to write this in linear form, I'd have x minus 5. Remember, if you have a positive 5 here, you have to change it to a negative. And now this part is just the x squared plus 0x plus 2. And so one word that's going to come up, and you need to remember this because I only cross the x-axis once, and I can still see that I'm squared. That means I should have 2 more answers. This is irreducible quadratic, so that means I have imaginary numbers, which means you're going to have to do your ABC and do the quadratic formula. Okay, and so I went ahead and worked it out just for the sake of time on this video. So when I plug everything in, okay, I end up with negative square root of 8 over 2, which, again, if I put an I, means plus or minus I. Oops, I should have put a plus or minus here, too. I square root of 8 divided by 2. Again, I can continue to reduce it, but you leave it like that. That's correct, so you should be fine there. Okay, so all the zeros here, I have one at x equals 5. I have one at I square root of 8 over 2, and I have one at negative I square root of 8 over 2. So those are my 3 zeros. Okay. Now, next ones. So I'm going to go through these kind of fast. Simplify the following. This is telling you to use long division. So if you see simplify the following, you have to use long division. Okay, that's what it's asking you to do. So I'm going to go through a long division problem with you. And again, here what I want to do is look at the number in front. This is a 6 divided by the number in the front. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And now I look at the powers. So x cubed, so here I have 3, here I have 1, so this should be squared. And one more thing you should see here, guys, this right here was missing the x squared term, so I had to put it in there, 0x squared. Okay, so don't forget to do that if you're missing one of the terms. And now I want to multiply 3 times 2 is 6x cubed, 3 times 4 is negative 12x squared. And now I have to change the sign, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive, these cancel. 12x squared minus 8x plus 5, so these come down. And I do this again, so now 12 divided by 2 is 6, so 6x, because I have it squared, and here I have a 1, so 6x times 2 is 12x squared. 6 times 4 is 24, negative 24 I should say. And I have to change the sign, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive, these cancel. And negative 8 plus 24 is 16. And now the 5 comes down. And so 16 divided by 2 is 8, so plus 8. And then this becomes 16x minus 32, which again, these change signs. And 32 plus 5 is 37. So this is my remainder. So you have to put it up here, plus 37 over 2x minus 4. So this right here is my answer, if I simplify. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and just go through these next two here with y'all. Again, this is going to be the answer, so just go through the math so you can see it. Again, this is the answer for part C, and let me go ahead and just show you right here. This is the work for it. So since I already did one for y'all, I don't want to go through each one of these. So this is my final answer for part C. Okay, so moving on here. Number 6, find all the zeros of the function. So again, you have to start with your P's and your Q's, okay? And again, I'm going to go ahead and just show the graph on this one. So you can see here that I cross at +6, +2, and +1. Now, if you don't have the graph, which you won't on the test for maybe one of these problems, you will have answer choices. So look at your answer choices, guys. They can show you what numbers to use, and whichever ones give you synthetic division of 0, a remainder of 0, those are your answers. So if I were to do this, okay, 6, and then go 1, -9, 20, and -12. So this becomes 1, 6. So I found that 6 is a factor of this equation, okay? And so if you don't have the other numbers, guys, again, look at your answer choices. Again, I already looked at what they are, so I'm going to do this with 1, and you can either start over again with these numbers or continue with these. So okay, so I see that 1 is also an answer, okay? And if you get that, then I mean, you can just start again with 1, -3, and 2. Again, if you have answer choices, you have like a kind of a guide on where you can start. So I see that these are zeros, so my answers is 6, 1, and 2. Okay, and again, look at your answer choices. They can give you the numbers that you can start with, okay, and so forth, okay. So this one is something we didn't go over, class, and so I just want to go through it very quickly. If I have given that 1 plus 3i is a 0, okay, so they always come in pairs. So what that means is I have 1 plus 3i is a 0, but I also have 1 minus 3i is a 0, okay. So if I were to write this in a linear form, I would say x minus and then 1 plus 3i, like I wrote over here, and x minus 1 minus 3i, like I wrote over here. Okay, and so these are zeros. Both of these are zeros. 1 minus 3i, 1 plus 3i, and these are also zeros if you write them in like the big form. So one more thing that you should remember about this is I can go ahead and distribute this thing. And if I do that, the -1 becomes like this and like this. And so I'm going to have to do FOIL. So this becomes x squared minus x plus 3ix, and then negative x plus 1 minus 3i, okay, and then do it again with the 3, so the -3i, so negative 3ix minus, plus 3i, and then plus 9i squared. So I'm going to see the 3ix's cancel, the 3i's cancel, and I'm left with x squared minus x plus 1 plus 9i squared. Okay, where I know that I squared is equal to -1. Okay, so this becomes x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 9 times -1, so this becomes -9. So, oops. So these we can subtract them, so x squared minus 2x minus 8 is the final answer here. So this is also a 0, I guess you can call it. Again, this is not something we covered in class. I just want to go through it here and see how you guys do on that problem.